I'm going to show you how to do an exercise called the Serratus Press in the hands and knees position. Now, the serratus anterior is a muscle that is located just underneath your armpit and a little bit to the inside. It's a really important muscle, and in my opinion, it doesn't get enough fanfare. It has a really important job, and that job is to help connect our upper body to our core. There's a ton of movements just in daily life that we're going to call on the serratus for. Reaching for something on a shelf, putting something in an overhead bin at the airport, even getting dressed. All of these things we're going to call on the serratus, not to mention our push-ups, our overhead shoulder presses, a lot of things in yoga. So there's a lot of times in life where we're going to want to be able to use this muscle to its fullest capacity. Now, conditions such as pregnancy, poor posture, diastasis, or even having a hernia, all of those things are going to generally mean that the serratus is not on board the way we would want it to be, and so it's important to take some time to learn how to bring it back. I'll show you a great exercise that can be used when you're new to activating the serratus and making sure that it's firing at its full capacity. So we're going to set up in hands and knees. And when you're doing that, you want to think about having a neutral spine as you're in the setup. Now, if I weren't thinking about that, my back would look something like this. Yours might be like mine, or it might be a little bit different, but either way, we want to go for that neutral spine by engaging lower abs, pulling up, and then we're going to think about, for me anyway, flattening my thoracic a bit so that I form as flat of a line as I can. Then I'm going to think about extending my head out through my spine and shoulders like a turtle, kind of poking its head out a bit. And lastly, thinking about keeping shoulders down away from ears so that there's some space there. And now I will be gazing between my either index fingers or my thumbs, depending on the person. So that's our setup. Then we're going to think about pressing out, keeping our head gliding along an imaginary wall. So my shoulder blades are moving apart here. Now I'm going to allow my shoulder blades to move together. And again, I'm thinking about that imaginary wall. If you want to do one even better, put your head against the wall. That'll be even better for you to be able to tell how you're doing with this. If a wall isn't the most convenient, but you have a foam roller, then you can set that up and you can let your head glide up and down there. So if you do use an object to guide you, you just want to make sure when you set up that it's a little bit of a reach to get the crown of your head to your object, and you don't want to do it by lifting up your chin. So crown of the head is what moves up and down. Keeping that neutral spine, up and down, elbows are staying soft. Now, if you have some trouble with this range of motion and you feel stiff, feel free to stay at the bottom of the move and take a few breaths. That should help a tight muscle let go a bit so that you can then access it and use that full range of motion. Tight muscles are also weak muscles. So we want to make sure that we do take the moment to relax them if that is going to be beneficial for us. So give that exercise a try. I know it's going to help your core function and just your functioning in general, since that muscle is going to be one of the most important ones to make sure you bring back on board.